I would like to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6:32 on December 6th. Move on to presentation. We don't currently have anything to present, so we're gonna go ahead and review the minutes from November 13th.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
Would anybody like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I'll roll.
Roll, sorry. That's you. Just use that one.
Okay. Anthony,
Here.
Charlotte, here, Joshua,
Here. Okay, keep going.
Gabriel,
Here.
Sophia,
Here.
Gavin,
Here.
Mirabella, Donovan, Jackson,
Here.
Mason,
Here.
Alexia,
Here.
Terrence,
Keep going. That should be everybody.
So would anybody like to make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting, November 13th?
I'll make that motion. Motion to approve minutes from our previous meeting, that being the meeting of November 13th.
Would anybody second that motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 10-0. The Kyle Area Youth Advisory.
It's 11.
Sorry. The Kyle Area Youth Advisory Council welcomes comments from citizens early in the agenda of regular meetings. Those wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting begins. Speakers may be provided with an opportunity to speak during this time period, and they must observe the 3-minute time limit. So any current public comments?
Seeing none, I'd like to close.
Seeing none, I'd like to close public comments. So we are going to discuss possible action regarding the addition to health liaison roles and responsibilities. Just like an open conversation. Is there anything that we absolutely want to be included for these roles? Any specific publications for them?
You clarify the question, like what kind of?
Do we want to? So, is there anything that we? Word this. Anything that we want to give specifically to these new roles?
The role of health liaison.
So
That's what she's referring to.
This is just discussing possible responsibilities that this role can entail.
Mhm.
Okay. So it was brought up at the last meeting, but probably the best idea I heard from last meeting was to have them work closely with people involved with the schools. I mean, health liaison is gonna need to interact with the schools first and foremost. That's gonna be the main people that are gonna need to help are gonna be students. And so a close relationship with members of the school board or people involved with school administration would be particularly important for them.
Yeah. Definitely we want to work with schools. However, do we also want to work closely with the city? That way we're able to, even with like people who aren't in our schools, people who are like, say, homeschooled or just simply not in school but are still affected by this, would we want to work closely with the city? That way we can come up with something to also put out into the school, just the city in general.
Yes.
And also, it's like not just the student and youth thing, it affects adults as well too. So we need to make sure that we're working with adults as well as the youth and things.
Is there any other responsibilities that anybody thinks would be a very helpful addition to the health liaison position?
I'd actually like to make a motion, given that Councilmember Bearheiser was the one to introduce, or he was the one that came up with this idea. I'd like to make a motion to allow Councilmember Bearheiser to share his ideas or thoughts on the position.
You can just say, you can just ask. You
Mhm.
make a
You don't have to make a motion,
But-
it's not closed.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, again, this was just, this idea came from the fact I've been going around having a lot of conversations with the school and cities and county about mental health and how we can help kids around here. And in doing that, I realized, or I started to see that each of the schools have, they have at least one counselor. Some of them have therapists through nonprofits that the school district hires. And they're all kind of doing their own thing to address the same issue. And when you have something like that, rarely do you find continuity in the efforts that are being taken by various groups. So whoever had called out the city before, that's a good call. Because what I would think that this person would want to do is go out and meet with someone from the schools and ask them, like, how best could this group, and explain what this group is, how best could we serve this cause of helping kids, whether it's fentanyl, it's mental health, it's, whatever you guys deem to be appropriate. But and then you come back with that information to this group and you present to this group and say, this is what I learned. Here's where I think that here are 3 options where I think we might be able to make an impact in the schools. Or in the city, in the city, whatever you guys decide on that. But that's, for someone in that role, is to go out and do discovery with stakeholders in the community, city, county, school district, whatever you want, bring the information back and offer some ideas. And then, then your role as this group together is to take the ideas, to vet them, and also to shape them into something actionable. So, and that's where you guys can get creative and can do cool stuff that, me and Jerry over here, being the old people in the room, can't go in and relate to kids your age. So and that's kind of where this idea came from. It's like, you all can relate to each other better than older people.
So it would essentially be to encourage cohesion between the many different groups that are attempting to solve this problem, but kind of lack the ability to work together in the status quo.
Yeah, you're not going to be the glue to keep it all together. But what you're going to be able to do is figure out what everyone else is doing and say, okay, well, you guys are old and aren't able to relate to young people. We're going to try to do something that does relate to them. Because kids listen to kids, they don't listen to adults. Whoever you guys decide this role will be, I'll leave Johnny Flores's contact info. He's a school board trustee. I just texted him and asked him if I could put someone in touch with him. And he said, of course. So I'll leave that with Amy. And you guys can go from there.
Right. So then, now that we kind of have an idea of what roles we'd like to delegate, this position, what duties we'd like to delegate to this position, the next step would be, we need to amend the bylaws to include this position. Do we have the power to do that, or would that need to be approved by the city council?
Well, I think that we already got approval. This is getting back into the broken bylaws. For now, I would just say that this is a role that has been approved, and because it was approved by staff, not by me. I had to ask staff if it was even okay to do this. So that's what, Jerry.
I would just add that you guys are an advisory committee to council. So anything you think you might need from them or want them to know, your representative would make that presentation to council at a meeting.
Questions like, when would we go about giving this role to somebody? Would we aim for this meeting or possibly next meeting?
Yeah,
Or
so
do
you
you
can
want-
put it on the next meeting. You can, one, make a motion to assign the roles, and then 2, make a motion to bring it back to the next meeting to allow people to, I guess, apply and the interview process, and held by your peers.
So I would like to make a motion to approve these responsibilities of working with the school, working with the city, and attempting to unite all of the actions to help solve these issues. I would like to make a motion to apply these responsibilities to the health liaison role. Can I hear a second?
Second that.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries 11-0. I would like to make another motion to move on with for next meeting to have somebody or have the application process to put somebody in this role. Can I hear a second?
Second.
Assigning it for next meeting
Okay.
to assign somebody.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries 11-0.
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Next, we're going to be discussing possible fundraiser ideas for Kyla Area Youth Advisory Council. We're also going to be bringing in our social chair to talk a little bit more about that, if there are any ideas, so.
Oh, I could do some research and look up some more fundraisers that we could do. I don't have anything off the top of my head right now, but I'll do some research and look into things around the area that we can do.
Is there anybody who has any ideas of possible fundraiser ideas?
I'm pretty sure the city of Cal is gonna continue doing those vendor markets in the Pat Square Road there, right? Through winter, or is that gonna take a pause until spring?
Yeah, so we currently are only doing the 25 days right now at the square. And then specifically the market days will begin back up in April. And they'll go April to November like they just did this year.
Yeah.
But we'll have other events in between. So we'll have an Easter event. Where are we at? We'll have a Valentine's dance for people with disabilities. We have a Christmas dance for people with disabilities next Friday. So there's different opportunities for you guys to volunteer at. It kind of is just up to you guys and what you are looking to do.
You guys want to come up with a fundraiser idea, just come up with the idea and then lean into all of us to figure out how to make it happen or like where it can happen. Because this is your time, this 2-hour meeting or however long it is, to be creative together and to participate and to come up with something. So even if you don't have a good idea, like what you think is a good idea, throw out your best bad idea and see what happens. Try to make it a good one.
There's no such thing as a bad idea.
Going back a little bit, back to the health liaison, can you hear 2 to 3 volunteers who are willing to start taking initiative and speaking to the appropriate people for this position? Would anybody else like to?
So he can hear you. So say it a
Okay.
little bit louder.
Can I hear anybody who would like to volunteer to start taking initiative with the, with the appropriate outlets or people?
She's looking for people who would like to volunteer to start advocating and start speaking to the county, the school, and the city as health liaison to start getting those connections going. So she's just looking for volunteers.
Does anyone not have a role?
Oh, so those 3. You're all good? Jackson, you're good with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so make the motion to appoint this.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint
Alexia
Alexia,
Mason.
Mason, and Jackson to start taking initiative. Can I hear a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 11-0. Jumping back to the fundraiser ideas, does anybody else have any ideas for fundraiser ideas? Even if they might be one.
Yeah, how about if we make like a raffle, like during the event, people could purchase tickets, in which they'll we could choose either between 1 or 2 or 3 people who will get the prize, and then we'll use that same money to either buy a prize for the. What I'm trying to say is, get raffle tickets, 3 winners or maybe 1 during those events, and maybe we could take a half profit or 20% off, like for us, bring profit for us, and then leave the rest for the winners.
Right, so then what event would we plan to do this for if we were gonna implement a raffle?
So you said we had an event coming this Friday.
So this Friday is the movie in the park at Lake Kyle, and they're showing The Grinch. That's an opportunity to set up a table, definitely. Jim Carrey,
That is a.
but Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Still good.
Yeah. What other ones are there? I don't know any other.
I like them both.
And so your other opportunities would be the 25 days. They are only accepting vendors on Thursday through Sunday. So that's your opportunity with that. And I want to say your days are open. Yeah, we still have slots for the people to be in the promenade on 25 days. And then I wouldn't necessarily recommend the 15th because the inclusive dance, everything is free. And most of the participants don't bring money because they don't need to. But I would just get clarification. So you want to do raffle tickets, get the money, and then split the money between the winners and kayak, or are you guys wanting to buy prizes that you're raffling off, keeping the money as the fundraiser?
Right, so like, I think the idea is that we get the tickets, like, everyone buys the tickets. Those either we buy the prizes with our own money, or we buy the prizes with our own money, and then we get the tickets. Half the profit, sorry, no. If we're doing the 50-50 raffle, like was suggested, we wouldn't need prizes, it would be a cash prize. If we're doing a 50-50 raffle, then of all the ticket sales, 50% would go to the winners, and then 50% would be redirected towards us to bolster our budget.
I don't know that you can do a cash prize.
Yeah, I was.
Prizes are a better way to do it.
Yeah,
anyway.
I agree.
It's only make one.
You could probably get somebody to donate some prizes.
Yeah, that's true.
And you guys also have an allotted budget. Don't forget that.
But what are you raising money for?
Our budget, and pretty sure.
We don't have anything specified right now, but just for any upcoming projects, like for instance, our capstone project, if need be, we need money.
They could work to your benefit to identify your capstone project and your marketing for your fundraiser. You can say what you're raising money for.
That's a good idea.
I think that before we do any actionable targets up for fundraising, we should first understand what our funds are going to be allocated towards, and better understand the situation we're in when it comes to funds, because there's no need to fundraise pointlessly. We need to be fundraising with an intent to accomplish something.
So you guys know the city's growing, right? There's new businesses coming in here every day, all of which are looking to plant a flag in the city, which provides you guys an opportunity to go in there, introduce yourself, tell them what you're doing, where you're from, and ask them for donation. And now you're selling something for free. And that's how you're getting the entire nut from going out and soliciting donations. Like Laola, you can go to Los Vaqueros, you can go to Academy Sports, Hobby Lobby. All those businesses have budgets for this kind of thing, for them to give away stuff. Pie Company, another place. I mean, you could just, like, in this block, you probably find like 3 to 4 different places that'll give you gift cards, that'll give you whatever, and then you sell raffle tickets for that. Or you get a table at the promenade, like Amy was saying, and you have people sign up to, like, silent auction them for a certain value. And it's being done for kids. Who doesn't love giving money to kids? All right, Scrooge.
The other thing that I was thinking is that kind of act as advertising. So we solicit these donations, and in exchange, let's say we set up a vendor booth somewhere. We advertise to people who donate, or when the raffle comes up, when we're giving out the prizes, we advertise who gave the prize. Essentially, it acts as a transaction. They give us money so that we can do the fundraiser, and then we provide them with advertising, which would be particularly important to businesses that are just now getting in the area.
I'll say, just to throw an idea out there, I do work at Torchy's, which everyone loves. We give away free taco cards a lot, so I'm sure I can get some of those in a basket at some point.
Kind of piggybacking off what Jackson said, I'm on a drill team where we have a lot of sponsors, where we have certain, like levels, like we have a bronze level, a silver medal, a silver level, and then a gold level, depending on how much is given to us. And then from there, we put them on, like, for instance, t-shirts or our sign that we have in front of us at football games, just so that they still get their, what's the word?
Recognition.
They get recognition, and then they do get some form of, oh my gosh, I'm running out of words today. Advertisement, there we go. So if that's something that we might be interested in, like, for instance, I know that we're getting these shirts made, if it haven't been
Mhm.
solidified yet, we could put them in back of shirts. If we have like any events or parades we want to do, if we wanted to get like a banner or something, we could put them on a banner as well. So just an idea.
I think that's a good idea because they're probably want advertising, and the best way to give advertising is like putting it everywhere, basically.
But does anybody have any other ideas regarding fundraising ideas for the coming year? So we're gonna go ahead and move on to a marketing.
Do you want to make a motion to have the social chair start reaching out to businesses?
I would like to make a motion to have our social chair, Mirabella, to start researching and reaching out to businesses. Can I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 11-0. Next on our agenda, we're going to move on to a marketing promotional plan presented by our council vice chair, Anthony.
Alright, so essentially, what we wanna do is create well, not a website, but like a page, or it could be either in TikTok, Instagram, or we could go to Facebook too. That would be a great idea. To essentially explain, and also that could be a possible way of us getting support from these other companies like Academy, Hobby Lobby, and we could eventually promote them through our website. And so essentially it would be if would I create a motion to have someone in charge? Social marketing,
So we have a marketing person already,
Okay.
so you would
make a motion for them
that
to.
marketing.
Are the social channels still built?
Yeah, so I am in communications with Facebook and I'm sorry, with Facebook, with Rachel regarding the Facebook. And that's kind of gonna be my update a little bit later. So it has to tie into a personal account. And so who the person that's overseeing KAYAC, the city staff, would have to
Be the,
put theirs,
okay.
yeah. So, and then as far as TikTok and Instagram, I do not believe that they have either one of those. I know for a fact they have a
Oh,
Facebook already.
I just did with Rachel
Mhm.
and find out what's our social media vehicles if they can.
Yeah.
Get a page on, and even our city website, I believe, has a page for CAD.
Yes, sir. That's what the one I was referring to. That's when I spoke to her about. I have to tie the KAYAC Facebook to a personal, like one of our personal Facebooks, like
So-
city staff.
Essentially, I will be making a motion for that person to take action to connect with the staff,
Mhm.
and also make a plan to create this social platform.
Yeah.
Alright, so I would like to create a motion for the marketing chair to make a contact with the staff, which is essentially the person who's gonna make a Facebook page for us, and also to take action for creating platforms of us, like in we could say Instagram and TikTok.
All
Second was Alexia.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 11-0. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, why are you laughing at me?
Anything else?
No, that's gonna be it.
We're going to be moving on to capstone project ideas. Remember, we want to keep a limit on 3, and if anybody has any ideas, they can go ahead and start talking about them now.
And I asked, what's going around city parks and recreation wise, like going on right now that we can like maybe add something?
So we have the phase 1 of the inclusive playground that's been done. We have a new the CIP projects for new pickleball and tennis courts for Greg Clark Park. There is a new there's a new BMX park coming up as well, and I want to say that's probably in a year out or so process. And then we have ball field improvements coming up as well. And then let me try to think. We have a new position opening up for a CTRS, so people that work with people with disabilities, cognitive or physical. So that's a good avenue to go in as far as like the inclusive playground. And then those are the ones off the top of my head. Jerry, would you have any others that?
I would just add that a capstone project doesn't have to be something physical.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be something that you build. The first kayak group actually was instrumental in passing legislation to control vaping in schools and young people. So I'll look for something close to your heart, something that's important, something that young people are dealing with, and pursue that. And I think the health initiative is a good candidate for that.
Just kind of piggybacking off of that, I was recently talking to a few of our teachers. I currently go to Lehman. I know a lot of people have heard really bad things about Lehman. We're extremely underrepresented, especially within like the school board and just overall in the district. So I would like to possibly get in touch with our school board, anybody who can really listen to us and maybe create something similar to KAYAC for our schools, because currently we have a lot of schools that are very underrepresented. I know Fuentes is also another one that's currently not doing so well. Just being support there for the teachers, any of the students that have any issues, just bringing awareness to these schools. That way, there's currently an imbalance of power within the district and going to a school that's very underrepresented for these things. It's very close to my heart personally. I've been going to these schools since, of course, kindergarten. So if we could do anything to help these teachers, these students who currently feel like they're unseen in the district, just to remind them, hey, we hear you. Maybe create a program to where they're and not they can anonymously send something into the school board, like, hey, I noticed that our gym isn't looking that great. We need X, Y, and Z so that we're successful. Especially for, on the east side of the highway, a lot more of us are on free reduced lunch. So sometimes it's hard to get what we need because we don't have the money to. So
I just that I would avoid getting political. And that might be crossing the line towards political. Not saying it, what you're saying isn't true or needs to be addressed, but I don't know that it would be within the purview of this group to visit the city, going to the school board, because you're a group of the city, and then going to the school board and advocating for something that might not look good.
So I think that more so the core of the idea would be best served at making sure that that the concerns of people on the ground, the students, the teachers, is able to make its way up to the school board, that they're able to hear that feedback. The only problem I see is that as of right now, we're not an organization affiliated with the school board in really any way. So there would need to be a connection built in some way for that idea to really take off the ground.
If you want to do something for teachers, by all means. But I wouldn't get into a political fight with the school board.
Kind of staying in the school area, the health liaison definitely is going to be working with the schools And so we can definitely do something to have the students' voices be heard a little more. Just maybe if they're like struggling academically or like mentally with something that we can help the school board be like, hey, let's help you out a bit. Because I know like we have Hayes helpline and stuff like that, but just to help give the students more resources or at least know about the resources that they have.
What about a tutoring organization? I can only speak for Hayes, but as far as tutoring goes in Hayes, it's pretty much non-existent. Like as far as peer tutoring is, as far as other students helping other students with academics, it pretty much doesn't exist. And so for we have people from all of the schools in this area, Johnson, Lehman, Hayes, and so to have people here with some kind of backing be able to make a tangible difference there, I think would be good because not only would that help some of these students that maybe underperform in class with their grades, it also provides us a direct connection into the school. It allows us to interact with these people. And just by merit of that interaction, it makes our role as trying to help them significantly more effective because we're much more in tune with what they need.
I know at Lehman we have upper bound, but it would be really beneficial to have something else there. For instance, like we have tutorials after school from, I don't remember the days, but just having that kind of outlet where we can get these students things that they need. I don't know if that Hayes y'all have CIS, but I know at Lehman we have CIS. So maybe we can reach out to the CIS directors and ask if like we could possibly like use a room after school. That way we can have certain people sign up and host tutoring.
Yeah, that's what that stands for.
So communities in school.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, if Hayes does that.
I think every school does. I think it's a district.
Yeah, it's just not as.
So does anybody have any other ideas for the capstone project that they would like to discuss?
I had ideas, but I don't know if they're good. So one of them was like organizing like a really big citywide or like community-wide like drive. Cause I know there are a lot of schools that like especially elementary schools that really need clothing for like the younger kids. So just organizing some sort of like donation and like gathering event and like just a big drive. What? Oh, yeah, and then so that was one of my ideas. And another one was like getting like some sort of like community-wide like art project, like maybe a mural or something, like getting something like that approved and like I don't know, I think it would just kind of like make our town a little bit more like appealing. And I don't know, I just think that would be fun.
I think the mural might be a little bit more abstract, but I think that the clothing drive is an excellent idea.
There can also be other things too besides clothing then.
The big thing to discuss with clothing would be community outreach. If we're going to do a drive like this, we need to come up with a plan to get as much community involvement, community outreach in as possible. So if anyone has any ideas for how, if we were to, because like if we want to move forward with that idea, we need some way to reach the community. So if anyone has any ideas in that regard.
Well, that's where Facebook would come in handy. There's a lot of people on Facebook.
Just
I have to go.
Okay. Yes, sir.
My real reason for being here was just to say hi and thanks for doing what you're doing and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Enjoy the cookies.
Just an idea to kind of mash both of the ideas together. I know that at Fuentes we had somebody who did murals up in Austin come down, and the entire school helped with painting this mural, and it really did bring a lot of us together. We could also do a clothes drive we have host an event where we have these people come in and like help paint. They get like a little cup of paint and they help paint the mural. That way they feel attached to it. While we're also running a clothing drive, we can also get into contact with Hayes Clothes Closet to see directly what we need the most. They also do food there as well. So that would be really beneficial. I know Clothes Closet is over by Simon, right? I think it's attached to it.
I've never heard of that, so I'm not too sure.
But,
I'll take your word for it though.
it might be something to think about. Maybe we could also put the mural by Hayes Clothes Closet, like on the side of the building, as long as it's okay, of course, okay with them and any of the laws that we need to abide by.
I think piggybacking off the have like everyone have a tiny cup of paint thing for the mural. If we could maybe charge like $1 per cup, like nothing crazy, then we can take that money and donate it to local shelters or even use it to go to like Kid to Kid or some cheap clothing store and buy more clothes for the local clothing.
I mean, like a suggested donations.
Yeah, like not required.
We could also make like, since it's right by Simon, we obviously have that huge parking lot. We can possibly invite vendors out, maybe make it an entire event if we wanted to, just to raise more money as well.
The vendors is a good idea. There's money to be made from that.
So, I know that there was, earlier on, there was concerns about, getting in touch with, the school, you know, building that connection. I just, checked the, schedule, and it just so happens that conveniently there is a student advisory board, meeting tomorrow. So essentially what that is that students from all around the district that are selected go to the superintendent and provide feedback. I got selected for, the, position on one of those. So I was thinking that potentially I reach out to the liaison responsible for that, and that could be a potential point of contact with us for some of the school board members.
I just want to just make sure that we are staying in line with what Mr. Hendricks stated, that we're not getting on that political aspect of it, and we're only keeping it to what we are saying that we want. Like, oh, we want to do a drive, we want to get the school involved. Can we utilize the school for free? Because facility rentals do come with a cost. So just going at it on that aspect and less on the, not that I think your idea was bad. I think that was a great idea. It's just remembering what y'all's goals are here, because we're not going to change the political views of everyone or how politically things move or why other people get it, why this school doesn't. So just being aware of that. So I just want to say that.
Yeah.
I also think that, you know, the school district might not let us, you know, like paint on their buildings, so you think more like put a mural somewhere in the city, like the inclusive park or somewhere over there, so that we can have our kayak stamp, not just on like a school building, but where people from the city will see it a lot more often.
Yeah, if you're okay with me giving an idea. So if y'all do, there's things as far as like painting a rock, and then you put a trail of rocks that have been painted by people in the community, or and I'm not saying this is technically approved yet, but if y'all say we want to do a trail, there's Lake Kyle Trail, the concrete trail, you can create a design on there and then you paint that all the way down. So keeping it nature based, that's the whole theme of Lake Kyle, is keeping it a preserve for people to come out, and it's a large green space. So that's an idea as well.
Yet again, once I said a lot, we had these bricks that go along our fence where we had to paint them for our 5th grade year. So maybe we could charge like, I don't know, $10 a brick. They could paint the brick and then create that path, just so that they're a little bit more sturdy and can last a while.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any other things to add or any other ideas for the capstone project?
So I think it would be important before you make your motion that figuring out the idea of what y'all want to do, because there were a lot of great ideas. It's just you don't want to overfill your cup without knowing exactly what goes into creating the drive, getting vendors, obtaining the facility and all of those things and the materials. But like Mr. Heiser said, you're able to get a lot of donations, especially as a student organization. But first find out the plan before we make any motions to say, okay, I would like to assign so-and-so to get in contact with the school so we can rent the facility for a day that we don't even know yet. So be sure that before we make a motion to do any of those things, that you guys know exactly what y'all want to do and what's going to be entailed. Like, so if you're like research how to create or how to coordinate a tour drive. That's part of it, or research how to coordinate painting stones, or however you guys want to go about it. I just wanted to state that before you guys make any motions.
So with that, is there any, like, what do we want to do in particular? Do we want to go with the mural idea, like of us selling the little cups, or going with like the stones to create that pathway? And do we want to do this at Lake Kyle?
I think that probably for right now, we should probably focus on stuff that can be done independently by us. So stuff that would only involve the city for right now. Just because I would prefer not to involve the school district, make any plans with the school district until we've established a connection with them. Not saying that we obviously could do that later. It's just that right now, logistically, it'd be very challenging to get all that coordinated and set up in such a short time frame, especially considering we're about to go on a winter break and all of that. So I would just say that right now, we should probably focus our efforts on stuff that can be done independently by the city, that way we're not working through multiple organizations.
That's why Miss Amy recommended Lake Kyle's, because we have that trail that we could utilize. And then with the clothing drive, we don't have to do it through KCSD. We can do it on our own, and then we can choose a possible organization to donate all of it to. So if anybody has any ideas for that in particular, that'd be very helpful.
I think donating to local shelters is definitely a good thing, even like, not even just like shelters that may be in the Kyle area, but in Austin, there's probably a lot of shelters up there. And making sure like all like the money we get from donations and like anything that has to do with vendors and all that doesn't come back to us, it goes straight to the organizations that we're donating to.
So, given that we don't have an actionable plan as of right now, I would say that it would probably be smart to make a motion to assign some people to come up with a type of plan. We decide, okay, we want to do the mural, we want to do the food drive, or we want to do rock trail, brick trail, whatever. We decide on that idea, and then we get a group of people together who feel particularly passionate about it, and we have them come up with a proposal, and then we set an item for the next meeting that allows us to listen to their proposal and then, you know, provide feedback, amend as needed, and then vote on that proposal. That way we kind of have, we're not rushing into this like head first. We have an actionable plan that we can work on come next meeting. Because I don't think that, you know, coming up with the entire idea, getting it approved and starting to implement it all right now would be the best idea. I think that it would be much better to come up with an actionable proposal and then propose that next meeting and then start and then jump off from there.
Sounds like a good idea.
Do we want to do social marketing chair? Just
Yeah, where are my folders at, just so I can clarify.
I think we should decide right now, are we doing a trail or a mural?
I think that the trail is probably gonna be cause like the logistics of finding the, where to put the mural, like what buildings we can put it on. I think that all of that might be a little bit too much for us right now.
I feel like the trail is more attainable than a mural.
Yeah, definitely more realistic at this moment.
For the trail, I think, I like the brick idea. I think we should also do bricks and rocks, just because like, it's more like inclusive, not the word, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so you guys don't have to assign, you don't necessarily have to assign the people, of course, like the social chair and the marketing chair should be involved in it, but also if anybody wants to help, it's a team effort. It's gonna take all of you guys and not just the two people to coordinate this capstone project. So if there's ideas, or you know, if you want to make a motion to so many people to come up with a plan. So for example, this is if Jackson wants to take on the idea of how are we gonna, what are we gonna do as far as the cups? Are we gonna take donations in? What are we gonna do as far as the stones? Somebody else can do, oh, well, we'll have somebody else donate them, or we're gonna have to purchase them. We're gonna purchase this many. What's gonna be the marketing plan on how to get this out? What is gonna be the content behind of why you are doing this? The why is the most important part on that. Okay. So you can see who wants to do it, and then, you know, make a motion to assign so-and-so to research this, so-and-so to research that.
Is
Just
there
an idea.
who was wanting to research something in particular for this project or just in general? Figure out logistics for it.
I will, I'll take on, a logistical plan on, how to get the, materials, whether it need to be purchasing them or acquiring them from some other source, but I'm willing to, look into coming up with a plan on, okay, how can we acquire these bricks, these stones, or the paint? Just one clarification question I would ask before that is, we should probably just go with bricks, or my opinion is we should just go with bricks or stones. Because one, if we're gonna create a pathway, we're probably gonna need to choose only one. And the second thing is that it might create some discrepancy if we're having some people do stones, some people do bricks. I just think it'd be a much easier idea overall and probably a much cleaner idea to just go with one of the two. So do we have any particular thoughts on which one we'd like to go with?
I think trail that people are gonna like walk on or around. I don't think bricks are the best idea, because then you have to like lay it down with like concrete or something to make sure it doesn't like move.
So for these like stones, or would we want to? Because I know stones, we've all been in science class, so we all know that they're probably going to get messed up a little bit. Do we want to do like an overcoat before they put it down so that they don't get as messed up? Or possibly like create just like an outline of where everything goes so it doesn't get all bubbly.
Yeah, so I think that the plan would require multiple pieces to it. I think that someone needs to be in charge of finding a way to get these, whether that be purchasing them or acquiring them through some other source. I think someone needs to be in charge of finding a part of Lake Kyle where we're gonna put these and coming up with a game plan of, okay, how are we gonna lay these down? What are we gonna do with them in that department? And then I think the final piece of that would be community outreach, making sure that everyone knows about this and that people will actually show up to participate in the community event. So I think that those would be the three main parts of any plan. I'm willing to focus on how to get those things. My understanding is that our social and marketing chair can focus on the outreach part. Now we just need someone to come up with a plan as far as like, Kyle, okay, where are we gonna put these? What's the plan as to where to put these and how to implement?
I think my question goes back to, what is this capstone project going to do? What is the reasoning behind the stones?
I was going to ask, like, are we throwing away the drive idea, or are we still incorporating the two?
I would personally like to keep the drive just because it's also something that we can give back to our community. If y'all have any different opinions.
I think that the main goal of this would be community involvement, because kayak has been dead for a few years now. I think that the number one step here should probably be getting our name out there, making sure everyone knows who we are. Because that initial community outreach, just to do something small, puts our name out there. That way, if we want to do something bigger, like a drive later on, we aren't operating from ground zero. We aren't a completely dark organization that no one knows about. So I think that the main goal of this would just be to get our name out there, engage the community, and make sure that people know our name so that the drives in the future can potentially just be that much more successful. Because just starting a drive from the ground bottom with an unknown organization seems like a pretty daunting task. So I feel like this capstone project with the stones in particular could help to remove some of those obstacles for the later projects.
I'm gonna disagree with you here, just because with the ideas of the project, this isn't gonna happen anytime soon, seeing as we're in winter, and it's definitely gonna have to be a warmer weather project. So we have all of winter to get our social and marketing chairs, get our name out there. And then we can have our capstone project be something big that does still gives back to the community, because that's the main goal. We need to have a purpose behind it. So the purpose is going to be giving back to the community, and it's probably going to be something that happens in like the spring or summer where it's warmer outside and people can go out and want to be outside painting rocks. And then we have all that time before then to get our name out there.
So if we get our name out there and then the painting rocks thing, the main goal of the painting rocks thing would be to engage the community, right? Community.
It's more of
So, like,
something to kind of bring the community together a little bit.
Yeah. So my question is that if we're going to do the drive, think it would be better to do it after we accomplish this piece of the plan rather than trying to do the drive. Because without that community unity, essentially, we can market ourselves all we want, but it's very, marketing yourself is very different from having the community have actual interaction with kayak as a whole. So like, we can market ourselves as much as we want, but ultimately we're still an unknown quantity. They still don't know us, they still don't have any connection with us. So I would still say that, the main goal of community unity for the rock painting would make later tasks significantly easier.
I'm gonna disagree again with that. Just in general, our goal as an organization is to make our city as great as we can make it to be and help with whatever we can. With bringing our community together, we do all know that with getting all this together, we do want to have some, of course, we're going to have a beautiful outcome with our hopeful trail. But also, if we get ourselves out there, and when we get ourselves out there, people are going to know who we are. And it's also going to give out a really good image of us, like showing that we do care about the community and there's not just one thing. Like, for instance, we could have, I know a lot of organizations do this to where you could either like pay for the stone or bring in like a clothing donation. So it's still beneficial to our community, not just us, especially because this event yet again is going to be a ways away. And these types of events do take a lot of planning, a lot of consideration, and a lot of time.
I actually really do like the idea of combining the two kind of into one. So we do the community outreach of the rocks, but at the same time, we also say, okay, we get the rocks, and then for rock painting, either let's say pay $5, we put your rock on the trail, or you can donate a lightly used article of clothing for our clothing drive. All the money we receive could go into purchasing clothes for that clothing drive. And so kind of we're combining the two ideas into one, where we're both getting our name out there and helping the community.
Finds everything and benefits everybody.
So yet again, is there anybody who would like to take on logistics or figuring out this plan that we have? So I know Jackson would source materials for us, decide if we need to ask for donations or purchase them ourselves. Our social marketing chair, is there anything that you two would like to take? It's okay if it's a no.
I don't know, I didn't.
So would you guys be okay with advertising the event?
Oh yeah, that's like.
All right, so then if we have the outreach, essentially just make sure that people know that it's going on, because community outreach is all great, but if people don't know that it's going on, we're not gonna have any success.
Couldn't we also post it on the City of Kyle Facebook page?
So it's not only about like, it's a marketing plan. So you guys have no date, you have no real logistics about it. So you guys essentially would have to wait till y'all figure out the date, what the logistics of the event are. There are also things that you could currently be doing is researching on other marketing plans that everybody else has used regarding a toy drive or a painting rock event. That's something that you guys can specifically do if that's what you guys want to assign. But yes, to answer your question, yes. Anything that anything that we start to post on the kayak page, I will put on our Parks and Rec page as well as a city page, just so that it's extra exposure.
Didn't we change like from district, like not districts, but like, because we were mainly from the sorry, I can't really explain it. I thought we changed from like who we are coming from like the parks and recreation. Didn't we like switch?
That's at the very end. Let me talk on that one at the very end.
And so then like, we're kind of harkening back to the point of we have no concrete date nailed down, we have no plan. And so like, I think that for now, what we need to be doing here is we need to be getting people together and assigning people to come up with a plan that can then be presented later on. So then I would say the main thing that we're missing now is someone who can nail down a date. Okay, this is when we're thinking of doing it.
nail down what goes into the toy drive, because it's like, okay, if it's better done in the spring, you wouldn't know that without doing the research of knowing it was done that. So maybe assigning someone to research how toy drives are done, what goes into the toy drive, and then assigning somebody else to what goes into the rock painting project, and then the marketing aspect. The day will come later.
Yeah,
You don't assign on the outside of you. I'm not saying y'all have to do this, but don't assign a date to something that you have no idea what you're even doing. Because you don't know that. One, and two, it goes back to you can't assign a date because we have to make sure it also doesn't conflict with the city event that's already currently going on.
Yeah.
So that's something, or it can, we have a kid fish. That's an opportunity that we bring kids already out. We can promote it double as a clothing drive and an opportunity to paint the rocks, things like that. But you have to have a program plan before you assign any other like date, time information until you have the plan.
We possibly have our social chair look into how to run this toy drive and the appropriate actions to take to make sure that this drive is as successful as it can be.
well, like the social chair and the marketing chair are already focused on like coming up with like an advertising strategy for this. I'd say that like as far as like we have three things to research. We have research marketing, we have research toy / rock drive, and then we have researching how to actually get these materials. It's like those are the three departments we need. We need people to research, okay, how do these things typically work? How can we mold this in the most effective way possible? But I also wouldn't like to over delegate to one particular person too much, put too much on their plate, given that the social chair is already on the marketing strategy.
Well, I was also going to say that if our marketing chair could possibly look into figuring out how to market this event and looking at possible times, not dates, just a possible time where it would be an appropriate just time to have this. So, if anybody else would like to have a task delegate,
I'm willing, I'm willing to do research on how to run a drive and present that too, so. And listen.
So is that something that both of you want to work on together, or both of y'all come up with like two separate things and then just kind of talk about them both?
How about we have one of them research how to do the drive and then have another person research how to do the rock painting, because those are the two activities that we're combining all in one here, right?
For sure, but we want to give other opportunity. What were you about to say before?
I'm just like, I'm fine with working. You go to Hazer. Yeah, I'm fine with working.
Simultaneously. Okay.
I think the one thing we're missing here is who's gonna like research where we're donating all this stuff to.
Yes.
So like, once we get it, we gotta like give it to the community.
So is that something?
Well, oh, sorry, I keep doing. Well, wouldn't researching like driving, like the drive plan also include research of where to donate?
I do agree with having somebody in particular look into different like shelters or different charities that we could donate this to, as well as anywhere that we could give like the money that we've raised to. So if anybody would like to take over with that, it doesn't have to just be one person.
I can do that.
Sorry, Mason raised his hand at the very beginning,
Yeah, no,
but it can be a simultaneous thing. It doesn't have to just be one person. There's a lot to do.
yeah, I definitely feel like we could figure out where it'd be best fit for all these donations to go to.
Okay, Mason and Gabriel?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have people to research how to do this. We have people on our marketing strategy. We have people who are going to figure out how to get these things. And then we have people to figure out where to donate this stuff. Do we think there's any other elements that we might need to add?
Another idea is so that just so it doesn't just fall on you for sourcing materials, would we want to get our treasurer in on that just so we can look and see where it would be more beneficial to the event and to our treasury as well?
No, I agree, given that, sourcing materials is potentially, I would even say probably very likely to involve spending kayak money. I think that getting the treasury in on that is great.
So Jackson and Josh, able to work together, or if anybody else wants to go ahead and help with sourcing materials. So just so I have it straight, Jackson and Joshua will work on sourcing these materials. Marabella, Charlotte, and I think those.
Yeah.
Research how to run the drive, the actual rock painting, and then, like, that was just it, sorry. Then Gabriel and
Mason.
Mason will work on looking at different charities or shelters to look at donating for. And then, and you know, I'm
Gavin?
so sorry.
Gavin and Alexia.
Mm,
Alexia? Whose name are you?
Our marketing chair. I'm so sorry.
Gavin.
Gavin. Oh my
Gavin.
gosh. Look
Mm.
into how to market this in the future.
Alexia, did you have anything?
I know that.
Okay. Alexia and Gavin.
Do we want to make a motion to do that?
You can say, to make it easy, you can say, make a motion to put in play what Isabella stated, so she doesn't have to run through it again.
I make a motion to put into action what our chair just laid out.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries 11-0. Just clarifying, everybody knows and what they're going to be doing and who to get into contact with to work.
And then the other thing I would say is that in order to discuss this, we need an item on the next meeting agenda, so we should probably make sure that we get that on there as well, so that everyone has time to, you know, present to everyone the information they found out, so that we're really making the most out of it.
Yes. So do we need to make a motion for that as well to move this?
If you want to put a deadline for everyone, yeah.
Oh,
And to,
When-
I will to amend the motion, the 17th.
so have it.
I have to look at the date, but have it all prepared.
Maybe? So it's like a week before.
January.
I always put it in before, yeah. I do it a week before,
So
regardless. 8th, maybe.
Yeah, probably give a few buffer days.
I would like to make a motion to have the deadline of January 8th for all of the information so that we can put it as an item on the agenda.
Do we need to, are we going to make that as a separate motion, or are we going to amend our previous motion?
She amended the last one,
Okay,
I
so
believe. Did you amend it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll second that amendment.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries 11-0. And do you just want to move on to the next item?
Yeah, that was a capstone. So yeah, number E.
So moving on from our capstone project, if you look at the back, we're going to discuss and consider the possible action for the attendance of Kyle Area Youth Advisory Council to attend the 2024 Youth Advisory Commission Summit from February 2nd to the 4th. So I'm assuming you have any.
Nothing in particular. It's something that you guys just need to look into. If there's people that want to go, look into how many people you are willing to send based on the budget, because it does charge per person to register, and then also the room and board. With that being said, your parents have to chaperone to go with you. So they were more than likely to be staying in. We have to look into the logistics of it all. But if that's something that you guys are wanting to do, I want to say the early bird registration closes soon. But I am not 100% on that. But anytime I post these agendas, you just click on it and it's really important when I do send it out to you guys that you guys are reviewing these agendas so y'all know what we're discussing if your name is on something. But it always usually has backup material, and the backup material on this one is specifically the websites for you guys to review. But I don't have anything in particular. Just wanted to state that was coming up.
About how much would it be for?
The top of my head, $175 for registration is what I can remember. But that could be not an accurate number, but I would definitely recommend you guys research and see.
So just off the top of my head, it would be very beneficial to have at least our board go, so that way we can learn how to work a little bit better, make these meetings efficient. Well, a lot more efficient because they are very efficient. But just in general, to just have that experience. Also, it might work as a little bit of a social thing. So
If I remember correctly, it's gonna be held in Dallas. at least like one of the northern suburbs, the summit.
It's possible. I don't really know. I'm sorry. I didn't, I clicked on it. It was 2 weeks ago when I looked at this, so I'm not too sure on actually where it's at.
It's probably just, my impression is more so just an awareness thing. I think we should probably avoid trying to nail down any concrete plans and just more so like make sure everyone knows what it's about. And then, because it's not until the second to the fourth, research it on your own and then probably discuss it at our January meeting on, okay, who are we gonna send, like the actual logistics of it, because it just seems like just a much more opportune time to have that discussion.
I do agree with that, just we need to, if you intend on trying to attend this, if that's something that you're interested in, definitely do some research about that because for instance, like what Miss Amy said, there's a good chance that our parents will probably have to chaperone us. So I know for at least like my parents, they're gonna have to plan a while ahead of time just so we have everything covered. So please do your own research about that. Look and see if that's something that that you're able to do, and then we'll figure out the logistics of actually getting there and who's gonna actually go. So just getting that in our heads, that way we can start thinking about that. Do we want to make a motion to have like our treasurer look into it?
You can just put it on the next,
Yeah.
the cost, yeah.
I would like to make are you okay with that? Sorry, I didn't ask you. I'd like to make a motion to have our treasurer look into costs regarding the Youth Advisory Commission Summit. Can we hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 11-0.
Yeah, you just read off the next one, yeah.
So next is going to be the reports. Our recreation manager, Miss Amy Garcia, will discuss upcoming City of Kyle organizational charges.
So the changes that are upcoming, and this is what Anthony was referring to earlier. I don't know if you all know, but we have a new city manager within the city, and he has made some organizational changes, and that affects the entire city. With that being said, one of the items on the memo was KAYAC and where it resides currently and the department it resides under. So as you all know, it does reside under the Parks and Recreation Department, but coming January, it will then be under the Assistant City Manager. Per the memo, he would like us to focus on recreation and park maintenance and things of that nature, and want to be sure that KAYAC is at highest priority for not only the city, but for you guys too. So come January, so this will be my last meeting with you all. I will put the meeting minutes on for the next meeting. Yeah, I will put the next meeting minutes on for you guys. And but I will be around and for sure want to see you guys see it through. So I'll be y'all's connection for, utilizing the parks and things like that. So y'all have my email, you guys have my phone number. Reach out if y'all need anything, volunteer, anything that you guys are really needing throughout the process. I know it's been short-lived, but I've had a good time with you guys and I appreciate, you guys coming out. This does take time out of your nights and your days and away from your homework. So, yeah, the changes would be coming in January. I am not too sure of the gentleman's name. I actually have not met him, but he is the new assistant city manager. So he will be y'all's liaison, y'all's city staff liaison, where Councilmember Bear Heiser will still be y'all's council member liaison. And I'm open to answer any questions that you guys may have. Yes.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. They were just, and this is one of many changes that have occurred. But I think it's a lot of that, based on the memo that I read, he would like KAYAC to be in priority. And honestly, you guys are a little bit closer to the head people, if the assistant city manager is over you guys. I don't really have an answer. We didn't have very many answers for any of the changes. We're just, adapting to the change and moving forward. But like I said before, I'm still a resource for you all and I'll still be around and I'll still be working for the Parks Department. So Mason, you had a question?
Stay.
How could I what?
Stay.
How can I stay what?
Here.
Oh, how do I stay? I don't know. It's kind of a decision that was made. we just kind of get the directive and we kind of move forward on it. I'm willing to come to y'all's meetings and stuff and, you know, be a part and just be a spectator, or if you put me on the agenda, I have an opportunity to talk, and as far as like upcoming recreation programs and things like that. But I'll still be around. I'll still be here at the city. But
So
yeah.
then the question would be is that, if he's gonna be the, new city staff liaison, then, as far as putting items on the agenda, you know, requesting items to be discussed and stuff of that nature, we need to how would we contact him? Because if, that role being transferred to him, then I'm assuming we need to contact him now to put stuff on the meeting.
Yeah, so for the January meeting, I will definitely be doing it. So we'll
Okay.
continue as what we were doing for the January meeting, because I don't know exactly when his start date is. So I'll get everything ready for January, and kind of just lay it all out for him, or I believe it is a him. And lay it all out for him so that he's able to just jump in, do what we've been doing, and then you guys are able to continue. But if y'all have questions here on out, feel free to reach out. Text is always quickest, but if you want to do email, that's also good. All right. Other than that, I don't have any other updates as far as the department. I know I appreciate you guys that did come out and volunteer. I appreciate that. We have plenty of volunteer opportunities. This is going with my updates for City of Kyle. We have plenty of opportunities for you guys to volunteer, especially throughout the month of December. Like I said, 25 days. We need people nightly from 5, and you don't have to stay the entire time, but 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. we are all operating at Lake Kyle, as well as Mary Kyle Hartson City Square Park. So if you guys want to do that, I can put you in contact with Sheba and Claudia. They are the ones overseeing this event. And so just send me a text. It's definitely easier, especially on event days, if y'all need something, to send me a text. That's probably my easiest way to get, because it's very busy on event days. But it's every night if y'all want something Sunday through Saturday. So even if it's for 2 hours and you're needing to get some hours. And then we have the inclusive dance. If you guys want to come out and volunteer for that, that's a great opportunity, and you get to hang out with people. All right. Any questions? Okay, that's all for me. We'll discuss the next meeting.
So our next meeting will be held January 17th. So this will be the last time we see each other this year. So I guess I'll see y'all next year.
Yeah. Everyone have a Merry Christmas.
We already have 2 items for sure on the agenda that we're gonna hopefully put on there. So yet again, if you have any items that you would like to be put on the agenda, message me, Anthony, or Charlotte, or Miss Garcia.
One thing that I just would like to add is that, I'm still looking into, possibly making some, talking about and potentially revising the bylaws for kayak, because, they're kind of a mess right now. So, depending upon how my contact with Councilor Rivera House goes, I might end up putting that on the next meeting's agenda, just to discuss them and, you know, how we might move forward to create a better framework for the organization. But, outside of that.
So yet again, just get into contact with one of us 4. We'll definitely try to get it on there. So, well, it will be on there, so, yeah.
You'd like to make a motion to adjourn?
I would like to make the motion to end today's meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Motion carries 11-0.
Do I need to sign this?
Mm-hmm.
They are good.
You got it? Please don't tell me what your favorite part is that.